construction of a root blower compressor, the working principle of root blower compressor, some advantages and some disadvantages we have discussed yesterday. Along with that, we have discussed the efficiency, how to determine the efficiency of a root blower compressor. Okay, the formula was isentropic work divided by actual work. Okay, so this small derivation also we have done yesterday. What is the isentropic work? This is the formula of isentropic work. This is the formula of isentropic work. Gamma by gamma minus 1, P1 V1, P2 by P1 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. Okay. If in the question paper volume they have given, you apply this formula. If in question mass flow rate they have given, then in place of P1 V1, we have to apply MR P1, because for an ideal gas, PV equal to MRT. Okay, this formula we have to apply. This is the isentropic work we have calculated, and the actual work is integration of V dP. So V volume into P2 minus P1. Entrance volume, V1 is entrance volume into P2 minus P1. This is the actual work. Okay, and the ratio between isentropic work and actual work, if we take these two ratio, then we will get the efficiency of root blower compressor. Okay. So best also you do not require, you no need to remember this formula. This formula is not required to remember. Just for derivation it is required. If in the question paper they are asking derive an expression for efficiency of root blower compressor, then you have to do the derivation in this manner, which is very simple. But while solving the problems of root blower compressor, how to solve it? First you calculate the isentropic work, then you calculate the actual work, then you take the ratio between isentropic work and actual work, and you will get the answer. So based upon this, already one question we have discussed yesterday. So today one more question we will discuss from this, and then we will switch over to the next type of rotary compressor. So in 2016, this is actually the 2016 supply paper. So here we have a question. Right, this question number 8B. Now we are going to solve this question. Okay, so this question is based upon root blower compressor. You can see the word. Okay, so in this root blower compressor, 1 kg of air per second it is entering with pressure 1 bar and 27 degrees Celsius. The delivery pressure of the air is 1.5 bar. We have to calculate the motor power. Okay, how much power that will be supplied by the motor required to run the compressor if mechanical efficiency is 80%. Okay, in this question they have given the mechanical efficiency and they have asked to calculate the motor power. Okay, so this question we have copy pasted and we are going to solve this question right now. So you be prepared with calculator so that quickly we can be able to solve this question, and we will switch over to the next topic. So here I have copy pasted the same question. Now we are going to solve this. First we will write down the given data. Okay, so what are the things given? 1 kg of air per second. This is the mass flow rate of air. It is already given in per second. Okay, so this is your JNTU 2016 question paper. So 1 kg of air per second. So mass flow rate of air is given 1 kg per second. Okay, so this is the mass flow rate of air they have mentioned. Is taken into a root blower compressor at 1 bar and 27 degrees Celsius. Means the inlet pressure is 1 bar. So inlet pressure means P1 equal to 1 bar and inlet temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. So T1 equal to 27 degrees Celsius. And I have told you always this temperature we have to convert into Kelvin. So if you want to convert degrees Celsius into Kelvin, so we have to add 273. 27 plus 273, it will be 300 Kelvin. And the delivery pressure of air is 1.5 bar. Okay, delivery pressure means outlet pressure or P2 equal to 1.5 bar. And this bar we have to convert in kilopascal. Who can say 1 bar is how much kilopascal? Yesterday only I have told you. 1 bar is how much kilopascal?
10 to the power of
10 to the power
100 to the power of 2.
10 to the power 2 or 100 kilopascal.
Sir, chart is disabled.
Sorry, chart is disabled. Why this chart is disabled? Shiva sir?
Yeah, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sir, the students are telling this chat is disabled. Once you check, they are not able to type a message. Can you see my message?
Yeah, sir. Now they can chat, sir. No problem.
Now they can put the message. Huh? Okay. Somebody please try something. Something you try to write in chat box. Okay, right. Now it is okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, so 1 bar we have got 100 kilopascal. So here 1 bar equal to 100 kilopascal we have converted, and here also pressure is 1.5 bar, which is equal to 1.5 into 100. So it will be 150 kilopascal. Next, we have to calculate the motor power. Okay, so motor power, we have to calculate motor power to run the compressor if mechanical efficiency is 80%. If mechanical efficiency equal to 80% of 0.8. Who can tell the formula of mechanical efficiency for a compressor? What is the formula of mechanical efficiency for a compressor? Who can say? For compressor, what is the formula of mechanical efficiency in terms of indicated power and brake power? In terms of indicated power and brake power, what is the formula of mechanical efficiency for a compressor? Already all these things we have done. Okay, so for a compressor, indicated power by brake power, yes, it will be indicated power by brake power. Okay, so we have two things. We have a engine and we have a compressor. Okay, so we have IC engines. We have IC engines and we have compressors. In T1, we have these two topics. Okay, in unit 5, unit 3, we are studying regarding this engine, whether it is IC engine or gas turbine engines. And in unit 4 and unit 5, unit 4 and half of unit 3, we have studied regarding compressor. So you just remember, engine is a work producing device. Engine is work producing device. Okay, right. BP by IP for IC engine, correct. 321. So engine is a work producing device, means we are getting work output, we are getting power output from a IC engine. Whereas this compressor is a work absorbing device. Work absorbing device means this compressor will consume some work, it will absorb some work, okay, then it will give the output. So that's why whatever the formula we are using for IC engine, exactly the reverse formula we have to use for a compressor. For example, for IC engine, mechanical efficiency is equal to brake power divided by indicated power. Okay, so this is the formula that we are using for an IC engine. So in case of a compressor, we are going to use exactly the reverse thing. So for a compressor, we will write the mechanical efficiency equal to the opposite formula. We will just reverse this formula. It will be indicated power divided by brake power. Okay, you just see the formula for a IC engine and you see the formula for the compressor. For IC engine, we have brake power divided by indicated power. Whereas in case of compressor, the formula will reverse. It will be indicated power divided by brake power. Okay, so in the same manner, here we have written it, the mechanical efficiency equal to indicated power divided by brake power. Okay, so now can you tell me, in this question they are asking to calculate the motor power. So this motor power indicate power or brake power. We have to calculate the motor power. Motor power means it is indicated power or it is brake power. Can you guess? Exactly, 305. It will be brake power. Okay, because this motor or external rotor, it is attached to the shaft. Okay, and from the shaft, whatever the power we will get, that is nothing but brake power. Okay, so in this question, motor power means we have to calculate the brake power of the engine. Okay, but mechanical efficiency 80% they have mentioned. Brake power we have to calculate. The only thing is we have to calculate the indicated power or actual power of the engine. Okay, so we will calculate the same thing over here. First, we will calculate the indicated power or actual power of the engine. Indicated power, which is also called as actual power for the compressor. Okay, so what is the formula to calculate actual power for the compressor? So yesterday only I have given this in the notes. I will show you this one. Okay, so for a root blower compressor, this is the root blower compressor. Yesterday we have done a derivation for the efficiency of root blower compressor. Okay, so here you can see for a root blower compressor, isentropic or adiabatic efficiency formula is this one. Whereas the actual work done for the root blower compressor, the formula is this one. What is the formula? The actual work done by a root blower compressor is inlet volume V into P2 minus P1. Integration of V dP. Work done is integration of volume into dP. Okay. So the actual work done formula is inlet volume V1 into P2 minus P1. This is the formula to calculate actual work done for a root blower compressor. Okay, so we are going to use the same formula for our current question and we'll get the answer. You see how I am doing it. So here what we will do, the actual work done, W actual is equal to inlet volume V1 whole into P2 minus P1. Okay, so from this formula we have to calculate the actual work, and this actual work is nothing but indicated power or indicated work. Okay, And once we will put the value of this this value over here in this formula, we will get the brake power. Okay, what is this P1? P1 value is already given 100 kilopascal. What is P2? P2 value is also given 150 kilopascal. Now, how to calculate this volume? Who can say? From this given data, whatever the data they have given in the question paper, from this given data, how to calculate this volume? Inlet volume. Inlet volume V1, how to calculate? Who can say this? Ideal gas equation. Yes, exactly. We have to apply ideal gas equation. Exactly. 312. Correct. 305. That is also correct. We have to apply P1 V1 equal to MR T1. Okay. So ideal gas equation is P1 V1 equal to mass flow rate R into T1. That implies what is P1? P1 is 100 kilopascal. So in place of P1, we will write 100 into what is V1? V1 we have to calculate. Right, Srikant also correct. And which is equal to what is the mass flow rate? Mass flow rate is 1 kg per second. So we'll write here 1 into what is capital R? R is called universal gas constant. Capital R is called universal gas constant and its value is 0.287 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Okay, so this value will put 0.287 into what is T1? T1 is 300 Kelvin. So now you solve this equation and tell me what is the inlet volume we are getting. We will get 321, 305. We will get 0.861 meter cube per second. 0.861 meter cube per second. So this is the inlet volume we have calculated. Okay. So now once we got this inlet volume, now we are going to apply this formula to calculate the indicated power. Yes, Srikant also correct. 0.861. Okay. So now we will calculate the indicated power. Indicated power or actual power okay, so W actual P power equal to W actual equal to V1 into V2 minus P1, which is equal to what is V1? V1 value we have got 0.861 into P2 minus P1. P2 is 150 kilopascal, P1 is 100 kilopascal. So 150 minus 100. Somebody tell me what is the answer we are getting over here? We are getting 43.05. Yeah, 302, 321, 308, 305, 43.05. 43.05. 43, 310, Sweta, right. So 43.05, the unit will be in kilowatts. Okay, this is the power or work done unit we have got. Now, once we got all these things, then we will write down the formula of mechanical efficiency. So mechanical efficiency is equal to brake power divided by indicated power. That implies, sorry, I have written the wrong formula. Mechanical efficiency is indicated power divided by brake power. So that implies, what is the mechanical efficiency? Mechanical efficiency is 80% or 0.8. Okay, so mechanical efficiency is 0.8, which is equal to, what is the indicated power we have got? Indicated power we have calculated 43.05. 43.05 divided by brake power or motor power. That implies, from this formula, brake power we will get 43.05 divided by 0.8. So how much it is? It will be around 53.8125. 53.8125. 53.8125 kilowatts. So this is the answer for your question. This brake power is also called as motor power. Okay. So in this way, we have calculated this problem. The answer will be 53.8125. Okay. So for this question, they are giving you 6 marks. Sorry, not 6 marks. This is a 5 marks question in the year 2016. Okay. So once you, for 2 minutes, once you see this question, you just read the question, you will see the whatever the given data and how we have done it. Just see it, then we will do the next problem. Then we will go to the next topic. First, write down the given data, then identify what you have to calculate, then write down the formula. In the formula, you just see which is given, which is not given, whatever the value it is not given. First, you apply the formula and try to calculate the unknown values. Okay, and once you got the unknown values, then you apply the direct formula. Okay, and you will get the unknown terms. Right. So this was all the questions we have already covered that came in the previous years. Okay, so with this, we have completed this question. Question number 8B. Okay, so this question was for 5 marks. We have to calculate motor power. So this motor power is nothing but brake power. See, the only thing is you have to remember the formula. If you have remembered the formula correctly, then just you have to put the value and you will get the answer. Nothing is there in this question. Right? Okay, so that's all about, we have done enough regarding rotary compressor. Sorry, regarding this root blower compressor. Yesterday also we have done one problem related to this root blower compressor. Today also we have done one more problem related to this root blower compressor. Okay, so that's enough problem. Now next thing is we are going to discuss regarding our next type of compressor. That is fan sealed compressor. Now we are going to discuss regarding this fan sealed compressor. So yesterday only I told we have 3 types of rotary compressor. First one is root blower compressor. Second one that we are going to discuss now, it is fan sealed compressor, and third one is Leishman compressor. Okay, but among these 3 types of compressor, every year they are asking only this root blower compressor. So this one is important that we have already covered. Root blower compressor, repeatedly they have asked in the previous year questions. Okay, so that only I have mentioned all these things. So in the year, you can see in the year 2016 they have asked regarding this root blower compressor. Okay, in the year 2016 final exam. Okay. Here also you can see they have asked regarding this root blower or rotary compressor. Question number 8. Question number 8A was derive an expression. Question number 8A was derive an expression for efficiency of root blower compressor. That efficiency derivation that I have shown you. Okay. And second one, this problem. Yesterday already we have done this problem. This is also regarding root blower compressor. Next, in 2017, also they have asked question number 9A. You can see, explain the working of root blower compressor with net sketch, 5 marks. Right? Only every year they are asking regarding root blower compressor. Okay, I think in 2018 they didn't ask anything from this topic. No, in 2018 actually they have asked regarding list out various rotary compressor, means 3 types of rotary compressors are there. Write the advantages of rotary compressor with over reciprocal compressor. These advantages I will tell you. Next, 2019 supply. In that 2019 supply question also they have asked regarding root blower compressor. Question number 9A. Okay, explain the working of root blower air compressor with a sketch. Again in 2019 final exam. Okay, again here also they have asked regarding question number 8A. With a net sketch, explain the working of root blower and derive the expression for root efficiency. You can see number of times they are asking regarding this root blower compressor. Okay, so that's why I have told you in the syllabus, out of all these 3 types of compressor, okay, this root blower compressor, this is the most important one. They have never asked any question regarding this Van Zyl compressor. They have never asked anything regarding Lewis compressor. Okay, so that's why yesterday we have completed the working principle and efficiency calculation of the root blower compressor, and 2 problems also we have done related to root blower compressor. Okay, and today we will start this Van Zyl compressor, and if time is there, I will complete Lewis compressor also. Okay. From these 2 types of compressor, there is no problem. Only diagram you have to plot and some working principle you have to write. That's it. Okay, it is not that much of important. Okay, but every year they are asking this root blower compressor. But anyway, we have to complete these 2 also, because we don't know what type of question JNTU people will set. Okay, so today we are going to start with Van Zyl compressor. All right. So this is an example of, this is nothing but a Van Zyl compressor. Okay. So this diagram you have to draw in the exam if this question will come. So I will tell you the working principle, how this Van Zyl compressor, what is the construction mechanism, and how this Van Zyl compressor will work. So first comes to the construction part. In the first point, in the Van Zyl compressor, it contains an airtight circular casing. Okay, so which one is circular casing? This outer part. This part is called casing. Okay, so this outer part, whatever you are watching, this part, this outer part is a circular casing. Inside this casing, the compressor will be there. In this diagram, you can see this outer part. This is the casing. Okay. So it contains an airtight circular casing. Airtight means whatever the air will enter, there should not be any leakage. Okay, there should not be any leakage. If leakage is there, then properly we cannot be able to increase the pressure. So that's why it contains an airtight circular casing in which a drum will rotates. Okay, you can see this rotating drum will be there, this inner part. Okay, so here inside this part here we have a drum. So inside this part we have a drum. This drum will rotate about an eccentric center. Eccentric center means the center of this casing and center of this drum will be same, about this center. Okay, the center of this casing is this one. The center of the drum is also this one. So about the same center, this drum will rotate as well as this casing will also rotate. Okay, so that's what I have written here. It contains an airtight circular casing in which a drum rotates about an eccentric center. The drum consists of a set of spring-loaded vanes. Okay, so you can see this blue color line. Whatever these blue color lines are there. Okay, these blue color lines are vanes. These are the vanes. And some white color line you can see, this white color path. Okay, these white paths are spring. You can see in this diagram. So this black color one, these are the vanes. Okay, so these are the vanes. And here these are the springs. Okay, you can see the spring part. Which one is spring? These are the spring. So inside this is the drum. This rotating part is the drum. Okay, with this drum, the spring is attached. I will show you a video also. With this drum, the spring is attached, and with this spring, these vanes are attached. Okay, this circular part, this is the drum, this will rotate. With this drum, the springs are attached, this white color part, these are the spring. And with this spring, this black color part, these are the vanes. And in this diagram, this circular part, this is the drum. This white color part, this is the spring. And this blue color part, these are the vanes. Okay. The drum rotates in anti-clockwise direction. You can see it is rotating in this direction, anti-clockwise direction. In the anti-clockwise direction, the drum will rotate. During the rotation of the drum, the vanes remain in contact with the casing. Okay, you can see there is no, this is the casing, and these are the vanes. There is no contact, there is no space between this casing and the vanes. Okay, because if some gap will be there, then some leakage will also be there. Okay, in order to avoid the leakage of air, there is no gap in between the casing and the vanes. These vanes are directly connected with the, attached with the casing. Okay, that's what I have written in the third point. During the rotation of the drum, the vanes remain in contact with casing. Okay, fourth point, as the drum rotates, when this drum will rotate, this is the inlet. Suppose this is the inlet and this is the outlet. Okay, so when the drum will rotate, the volume V1 of air at atmospheric pressure P1 is trapped between the vane, drum and casing. Okay, so this orange color line, these are the incoming air. Okay, so the air will enter and it will trap inside this casing. Okay, inside the van and casing, the air will trap. Okay, and at a temperature, at a pressure of P1 and at a volume of V1. Next point, what it is telling, inside the casing, as the volume of air decreases, so you can see as compared to the inlet, here the volume will gradually less. Okay, so if the volume will decrease, then it will increase the pressure. Okay, because we are considering this as an isothermal process, and we have the ideal gas equation PV equal to MRT. If it is isothermal process, then right hand side everything is constant. Then we can say that pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Inside the casing, as the volume decreases, this pressure will gradually increase. Okay, so that's what I have written in this point. Inside the casing, as the volume of air decreases to V2, the pressure increases to P2 adiabatically or isentropically. Okay, so this compression will take place adiabatically and isentropically. And again, there will be one more compression. Again, the air is compressed due to backflow of compressed air in the receiver. What will happen? In the left hand side, air will enter. I will clear the diagram. So from this side, air will enter, and in this side, air will goes out. But what will happen? Some backflow will be there. There will be some backflow. Okay, some air will strike this wall, and again it will reverse. It will change its direction. That is called as backflow of air. Okay. So what happens due to the when the air will come once again will coming back to the compressor, again it will compress inside this pump. Okay, so that's why again we have to do some work. That is the meaning of the last point. The air is compressed due to the backflow of the compressor in the receiver. Okay, so normally the air should enter in this direction, air should goes out in this direction. But some air, what will happen? It will strike the wall of the container, or it will strike the wall of the outlet valves. And again, it will return back. After striking here, it will return back to the rotor. Okay, that is called as the back flow of compressed air. Okay, so once it will comes again, once again, it will, if it will comes inside to the pump, again during this rotation of this drum, once again those compressed air will again compress. Okay, so that's why compression will take place in two methods. First method is adiabatically or isentropically, which is the ideal one. Second method is due to the backflow of the air, which is the actual method. Okay, this one is the adiabatic or isentropic work. This is the ideal work which we are getting over here. And second one is the backflow, which is the actual work which we are getting in this series. Okay, so this is the working principle of a van sealed compressor. So one small video I will play. From here you can understand how this rotary compressor or van sealed compressor will work. So I'm going to play this video now. Just have a look on it. So here, whatever you can see, the outer part, this is the housing one. Okay, and these are these things, these black color lines. These are the vents. Okay, and here you can see these are the spring. This part is called spring. Okay, and this part is called as the rotor. This is the rotor. Okay, so here this side, right hand side, this is the, in right hand side they have taken the inlet one, so here air will enter, you can see. Okay, so here the air has entered now. From left hand side the air entered, and this air is entrapped, it is stored inside the van and casing. So now when this van will rotate, you can see the volume will gradually decrease. You can see here the volume is more, but as these vans will rotate, you can see in this position the volume will gradually, the volume will decrease. Okay, suppose here the volume is V1, and if here we will take that the volume is V2, then V1 is greater than V2. This volume, you can see this volume, this much volume, this blue color one, this volume is greater as compared to this volume. Okay, so from what happened from this position to this position, volume gradually decreases. If volume will decrease, then what happens to the pressure? Pressure will increase. Okay, so that is the mechanism behind this one. Okay, now once it is compressed, then this outlet valve will open and the air will comes out through this outlet valve to the receiver. Okay, so this is the simple mechanism between van shell compressor. Here what he is telling is this rotary compressor is free of vibration. Okay, there is no vibration. This is an advantages of rotary compressor, but here this is called a reciprocating compressor. Okay, in reciprocating compressor the main disadvantages is vibration and noise. Here there is no vibration and no noise, so that is an advantages of rotary compressor. You can see in reciprocating compressor this one will vibrate, but here there will be no vibration. That's what he wants to tell here. See, this one is vibrating. Okay, right. So this is regarding the rotor van type or van sealed compressor or van type compressor. Okay, so now here also we have a derivation. Okay, so here this is the working principle that we have already discussed. If in the question, if in the exam they will ask this question, 3-4 points regarding the working principle you have to write, and this diagram if possible you have to draw. Okay, and here we have plotted the PV diagram. So excuse me. In PV diagram here you can see work done takes place in two paths. In first path the work we are getting work adiabatically or isentropically. Okay, so if we will indicate this, so process 1 to 2, process 1 to 2, this is isentropic compression, PV to the power gamma equal to constant. Here some work we are getting, so some work we are doing here from point 1 to point 2, that is called as isentropic work. This is one part of work. Second part of work we are getting due to the backflow of compressed air. So for backflow of compressed air, 0.2 to 0.3 at constant volume, this is the second type of work we are getting. Okay, so this one is the ideal work we have, and here at constant volume, this is the actual work we have. Okay, now keeping this into mind, we are going to evaluate the efficiency of this van type compressor. Efficiency of van type compressor. Okay, so the efficiency of a van type compressor is the ratio between actual work or work input at constant volume and total work. So it is the ratio between work input at constant volume. Suppose this isentropic work is W1 and this 0.2 to 0.3, this constant work is suppose W2. Okay. So the efficiency of van type compressor is work input at constant volume. Work input at constant volume means W2 divided by total work input. Total work input. What is total work input? This is W1 plus W2. W1 plus W2. This is the formula of efficiency of a van type compressor. Okay. So what is the formula? Efficiency of a van type compressor is the ratio between work input at constant volume. Constant volume means this one 0.2 to 0.3 divided by total work input. Total work input means W1 plus W2. Okay. Now just we will identify the formula of W1 and W2. We will put in this equation and we will get our answer. Okay. So now what is W1? W1 means this one, isentropic work. W1 is called isentropic or ideal work. Okay. So what is the formula to calculate isentropic work? Same formula, gamma divided by gamma minus 1, P1 V1. Okay. The pressure ratio is high pressure is P2, low pressure is P1. So it will be P2 by P1 whole to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. The same formula. Always this isentropic work will be remain same. This is the formula to calculate the isentropic work. Okay. Because here in this line the pressure is P1. Here suppose the pressure is P2 and in this line suppose the pressure is P3. So for isentropic work the lowest pressure is P1 and highest pressure is P2. So I have taken the pressure ratio as P2 by P1. Okay. So this is W1. Now what is W2? W2 is the constant volume work. Okay, here I have mentioned work done at constant volume. W2 is constant volume work. Now what is the formula of W2? Okay, W2 means this one. At constant volume the formula is same. V into, because work done in terms of volume is V into change in pressure, delta P. Okay, integration of VdP. Same formula only we are writing. So for this one, what is the volume? Suppose at this point, because we are calculating W2, so in this line the volume is suppose the volume is V2. Yeah, V2 into P3 minus P2. Correct. Navin is correct. Okay, so in this line, suppose volume is V2, so we'll write V2 into. Okay, so at this point pressure is P3. At this point pressure is P2. So V2 into P3 minus P2. Okay, so this is the formula of W1. This is the formula of W2. Now these two formula you just put in this form question and you will get the efficiency. So efficiency of a Vane type compressor is W2. What is W2? W2 is V2 into P3 minus P2 whole divided by W1 plus W2. What is W1? This is W1. Gamma by gamma minus 1. P1 V1. P2 by P1 to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1 plus W1 plus W2. W2 means this one. V2 into P3 minus P2. That's it. This is the formula, efficiency formula for a Vane type compressor. Again, no need to remember this formula. Just you remember the formula of work done. In the question, you calculate what is the isentropic work, that is W1. You calculate what is the constant volume work, that is W2. Then you apply this formula, W2 by W1 plus W2, and you will get the answer. All right. So this is all about vent type compressor. Tomorrow, one problem we are going to discuss regarding this vent type compressor. Okay, and then we will discuss the last one, that is Lissom compressor, and we will complete this topic. If you have any doubt, you have 1 minute, you can ask. So these notes, whatever we have discussed today, the problems and this derivation parts, everything I will keep in the group after this class. Once you go through it, once you practice these problems, you practice the derivations. If you are getting any doubt, feel free to ask. That's all about today. Once again, we'll meet tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye.
Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the session of fluid mechanics and hydraulic machinery. So in the last class, we have started our discussion on centrifugal pumps. So centrifugal pump is a device which converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. So in centrifugal pump, impeller is the main component. So where water enters radially at a inlet and leaves axially from the outlet. So pump is completely opposite to turbine. So pump is the work input device, whereas turbine is the work output device. We did some problems in last class in centrifugal pump. Now in today's class, we'll see what is meant by multi-stage centrifugal pump. So multi means more than one. Multi-stage centrifugal pump means more than one. So here there are two impellers are mounted on a same shaft, as you can see the figure. So this is the shaft and this is the impeller 1 and this is the impeller 2. So this type of configuration is known as multi-stage centrifugal pump. So this is two-stage pump with impellers arranged in a series. So if a centrifugal pump consists of two or more impellers, the pump is called multi-stage centrifugal pump. Here in this case, the impellers are mounted on the same shaft or different shafts. So in this figure, impellers are mounted on the same shaft. We have another arrangement also. So either we can arrange the impellers on same shaft or different shaft. So a multi-stage pump is having two important functions. One is to produce high head and another one is to discharge large quantity of liquid. Okay, this is the main function, to discharge large quantity of liquid, and another one is to produce high head. This is the main function of multi-stage pump. First one is to produce high heads, and second one is to discharge large quantity of water. So these are the main functions of multi-stage centrifugal pump. So here, this is two-stage centrifugal pump. Same shaft on this shaft, two impellers are mounted. So these impellers are arranged in series. Either we can arrange in series or parallel. Either we can arrange in same shaft or different shaft. So multi-stage centrifugal is to produce high heads and to discharge large quantity of water. Now this is the arrangement of two-stage centrifugal pump, as you can see in this figure. So the working of this two-stage centrifugal pump is here. The water from the suction pipe enters the first impeller at inlet and is discharged at outlet with increased pressure. The water with increased pressure from the outlet of the first impeller is taken into inlet of the second impeller. So initially, water from suction pipe enters the impeller 1 and inlet and is discharged outlet with high pressure. With high pressure water then enters into the second impeller of the inlet. In second impeller, pressure is further increased and then it is discharged. So this is the function. This is impeller 1 and this is impeller 2. So initially low pressure water enters in impeller 1 there where pressure of the water further increased and then it enters into this is the inlet and this is the outlet. So high pressure water then enters into the impeller 2 and then it is delivered to. This is the function of impeller. Now we need to calculate total head developed by the impeller. Total head developed, that is equal to N into HM, where N is the number of impellers mounted on the same shaft and HM is the head developed by the each impeller. So in this case, N value is 2 and HM is the head developed by the each impeller. So this is the total head developed by the multi-stage impeller, the multi-stage centrifugal pump. Now, this is multi-stage centrifugal pump where pipes are arranged in parallel. Here, two different shafts are provided. So this is shaft 1 and this is shaft 2. So in previous case, single shaft is there on which number of impellers are mounted on a same shaft. This is impellers are arranged in series. And this is parallel arrangement. Impellers are arranged in parallel. So two different shafts are provided. On different shaft, different impellers are mounted. So this is the impellers are arranged in parallel. So initially water sucks from the suction pipe, then it enters into the impeller of the first impeller, and high pressure water then discharged, and then it enters into the common pipe. Like this, discharge will happen. Q1 is the discharge in pipe 1 and Q2 is the discharge in pipe 2. Both discharges are coming from the common pipe, and total discharge of this pipe is Q1 plus Q2, where Q1 is the discharge in pump 1, Q2 is the discharge in pump 2. Here also total head developed by the pump is N into HM, where N is the number of impellers and HM is the head developed by the each impeller. And also total discharge for this case is N into Q, where N is the number of impellers and Q is the discharge in each impeller. So this is the pipes are arranged in parallel. This is about multi-stage centrifugal pump. And we will discuss another important performance parameter for centrifugal pump is specific speed. Specific speed of a centrifugal impeller. Specific speed of a centrifugal impeller. And it is represented by the letter NS. So this is the one of the most important performance parameter for centrifugal impeller pump. So in the last class, we have discussed a few parameters. Those parameters are what is meant by suction head, what is delivery head, what is manometric head, and we discussed some performance parameters like hydraulic efficiency, mechanical efficiency, overall efficiency. So this is also another performance parameter, that is specific speed. Specific speed of a centrifugal impeller pump. So first we will define this term. Specific speed. So it is defined as the speed of a geometrically similar pump geometrically similar pump